10 high-protein superfoods to rebuild muscle after 60. Everything you've been told about losing muscle after 60 is wrong. Doctors call it inevitable. It's not. Your body just needs a different playbook than the one that worked in your 30s. And almost nobody's telling you what that playbook is. The foods that rebuild your muscle are already in your grocery store. Clinical research has mapped out exactly which ones work and why. Today, 10 of them. Number 5 is a food clinicians want you eating right before bed, because it works while you sleep. Number 3 uses the part of the fish most people throw away, the part that protects your bones while it rebuilds your muscle. Let's get into it. 1. Whey protein isolate. The trigger food. The fastest way to force your muscle into growth mode. Whey isolate isn't a fitness fad. It's dairy science stripped down. Almost all the lactose and fat removed, until what's left is over 90% pure protein. Here's the mechanism. After 60, your muscle develops anabolic resistance. It stops responding to protein the way it did in your 30s. To force a response, you need a fast, sharp spike in blood amino acids. Researchers call it leucinemia. That spike triggers mTORC1, the cellular switch that turns on muscle building. Older adults need 3 to 4 grams of leucine in one sitting just to flip that switch. Roughly double what a younger adult needs. One 30-gram scoop of whey isolate delivers 25 to 29 grams of complete protein. About 3 grams of leucine. One shot. Threshold cleared. Here's what most people miss. It's not just about eating protein. It's about eating enough of it, fast enough in one sitting to clear the threshold. 10 grams here, 10 grams there all day, does almost nothing after 60. You need to hit the number. Mix 1 scoop into water within 2 hours after activity. Or use it to boost breakfast if mornings are your weakest meal. No chewing required. One of the easiest ways to hit your number, even on low appetite days. 2. Wild-caught salmon. The anti-inflammatory rebuild. Whey triggers muscle growth. Salmon clears the roadblock that's been quietly blocking it. Wild salmon delivers complete protein and marine omega-3s in the same bite. Almost no other food matches that combination. Here's the mechanism. As you age, your body enters inflammaging, chronic low-grade inflammation driven by elevated TNF-alpha, IL-6, and CRP. These markers physically jam the insulin and amino acid signaling pathway your muscle needs to grow. In plain terms, inflammation blocks the signal before the protein you eat can even be used. A 3.5-ounce serving of wild salmon delivers 25 grams of protein and roughly 2.3 grams of leucine. Meaningful progress toward your threshold. But the real power is the omega-3s, EPA and DHA, linked directly to reduced inflammation and restored amino acid signaling. Here's what most people miss. You could hit perfect protein numbers every day and still barely rebuild muscle if inflammation is jamming the pathway. Omega-3s aren't a bonus. They're what clears the interference so the protein you're already eating can actually do its job. Aim for wild-caught salmon 2 to 3 times a week. Roughly 120 grams per serving, baked or grilled. Pair it with a complex carb like quinoa for a full anabolic meal. Can't access salmon? Sardines deliver a similar omega-3 profile. We'll get to those next. 3. Canned sardines with bones. The osteosarcopenia defense. This is the one I promised you at the start. Muscle loss after 60 rarely happens alone. It happens alongside bone loss, a combined condition clinicians call osteosarcopenia. Sardines are one of the only common foods that hit both problems in a single can. Here's the mechanism. When sardines are canned, the small bones soften enough to eat. That changes everything. One 3.75-ounce can delivers 22.6 grams of complete protein. But it also delivers 351 to 382 milligrams of highly bioavailable calcium from those bones, nearly 38% of a full day's requirement. Pre-processed, ready for absorption. That matters because aging digestion is often less efficient at pulling minerals from harder food sources. Sardines also carry meaningful vitamin D and marine omega-3s, feeding the same anti-inflammatory effect that clears the path for muscle building. And low mercury compared to larger fish. Here's what most people miss. You're taught to treat protein and bone health as two separate goals, needing two separate strategies. Sardines collapse that into one food. One can. Muscle and the skeleton holding it up, handled at the same time. Eat sardines 2 to 3 times a week. Straight from the can, mashed onto whole grain toast or tossed into a salad. Don't discard the bones. That's where the calcium lives. One of the most affordable superfoods on this entire list. 4. Greek yogurt, the no-chew protein source. By now you're seeing the pattern. Hitting your protein number matters. But so does whether your body can actually get there consistently day after day. Greek yogurt solves a problem that gets bigger with age and almost never gets talked about. Accessibility. As dental issues, jaw fatigue, or swallowing difficulty creep in, high-protein foods that require heavy chewing quietly fall off the menu. Protein intake drops with them. Here's the mechanism. Greek yogurt is made through extensive straining that removes the liquid whey. That triples the protein density compared to regular yogurt, while concentrating calcium at the same time. 1 cup delivers 24 grams of protein, 1.5 to 2 grams of leucine, and 230 milligrams of calcium. All in a smooth, semi-solid texture. Zero chewing required. Fermentation also introduces active probiotic cultures that support the gut microbiome. That matters more than most people realize. Aging digestion often struggles with slower motility and reduced enzyme output. A healthier gut directly improves how efficiently your body absorbs the amino acids from every other food on this list. Here's what most people miss. The best protein source isn't always the highest number on paper. It's the one you'll actually eat every single day without friction. A food you have to fight to chew is a food you'll quietly stop eating. Eat a full cup of plain, low-fat Greek yogurt daily, topped with berries or a drizzle of honey. Use it as a base for smoothies or savory sauces if the texture gets repetitive. One of the easiest wins on this entire list. 5. The one I teased at the start. Cottage cheese. The bedtime muscle guardian. Everything so far has focused on triggering muscle growth during the day. This one's different. Cottage cheese protects the muscle you already have while you sleep. Here's the mechanism. Cottage cheese is a concentrated source of casein, a slow-digesting dairy protein. It behaves nothing like whey in your stomach. Instead of a fast spike, casein forms a gel that slowly releases amino acids over 6 to 8 hours. 1 cup delivers roughly 28 grams of protein, 2 to 2.88 grams of leucine, and 216 milligrams of calcium. Here's why timing matters so much. Muscle protein breakdown doesn't pause overnight. It accelerates during the 7 to 9 hours you're not eating anything at all. That's the longest catabolic window in your entire day. Most people do nothing to interrupt it. A slow, steady release of amino acids across that window keeps your muscle protected instead of breaking down. Here's what most people miss. They think of protein timing as a daytime, post-workout thing only. But the overnight window is where a huge amount of preventable muscle loss quietly happens. Night after night, unnoticed. Eat a full cup of low-fat cottage cheese 30 to 60 minutes before bed. Don't substitute whey here, its speed works against you at night. Casein's slowness is the whole point. This single habit alone can meaningfully change your muscle trajectory over months. 6. Chicken breast. The lean protein workhorse. You already associate this one with muscle building. But the real reason it belongs here goes deeper than gym staple. Chicken breast has one of the best protein-to-calorie ratios of any animal food. That matters enormously once your metabolism starts shifting with age. Here's the mechanism. Protein quality isn't just measured in grams. It's measured by how much your body can actually absorb and use, a metric called DIAS. Chicken breast scores 108%. Same elite tier as whey and eggs. A 3.5-ounce serving delivers 32 grams of complete protein and 2.5 to 2.7 grams of leucine, comfortably clearing the anabolic threshold in a single meal. It's also rich in vitamin B12 and iron, both essential for red blood cell production and oxygen transport. That indirectly supports how efficiently oxygen and nutrients reach the muscle you're trying to rebuild. Here's what most people miss. Dry, overcooked chicken breast is a real barrier for older adults, not a minor inconvenience. If a food is hard to chew or swallow, people quietly eat less of it. Regardless of how good it looks on paper, use moist cooking methods, poaching, braising, or shredded rotisserie chicken, instead of dry searing a whole breast. Aim for a 120-gram portion at lunch or dinner. Pair it with a plant protein like chickpeas for a complete amino acid profile and easier digestion. 7. Whole eggs. The complete breakfast trigger. Breakfast is usually the weakest protein meal of the day. That gap sets the tone for the next 16 hours. 2 eggs alone won't get you to your threshold, but they're one of the most efficient tools for building toward it fast. Here's the mechanism. Eggs deliver a near-perfect balance of essential amino acids. DIAAS score, 113%, on par with the highest quality proteins available. 2 large eggs provide 12 grams of complete protein and 1.1 to 1.2 grams of leucine. The yolk carries vitamin D, plus choline, a nutrient tied to cognitive function that too many people discard along with the yolk. Here's what most people miss. Eggs alone won't hit your 35-gram target. That's the point almost every generic health article misses. The real strategy: stack 3 eggs with a concentrated source like Greek yogurt in the same meal. Close the leucine gap in one sitting instead of hoping lunch makes up for it. Prepare eggs soft, scrambled, poached, or soft-boiled, so they stay easy to chew and digest. Combine 3 eggs with a cup of Greek yogurt at breakfast to clear 30+ grams of protein and over 3 grams of leucine before you've even left the kitchen. Never discard the yolk. It's where almost all the vitamin D and choline live. If this is useful, hit like right now. It helps this reach people dealing with the same thing who don't know where to start. This community's growing fast. I read every comment, so tell me, which one surprised you? A. Tempeh, the fermented plant powerhouse. Plant-based? Cutting back on animal protein? Tempeh solves a problem most plant proteins can't. Made from whole soybeans, cooked and fermented with a specific mold culture. Nearly double the protein density of tofu, in a dense, firm cake. Here's the mechanism. Tempeh delivers 18 to 20 grams of protein per 100-gram serving. Roughly 1.8 grams of leucine, plus 7 to 9 grams of fiber. Fermentation is what sets it apart. It deactivates phytic acid, an anti-nutrient that normally blocks mineral and protein absorption in unfermented soy. Your body actually absorbs more of the iron, zinc, and protein tempeh contains, not just what's on the label. Fermentation also introduces beneficial prebiotics that support gut health. Aging digestion often struggles with slower motility and reduced absorption. A gut-friendly protein source isn't a nice bonus at this stage. It's a genuine advantage. Here's what most people miss. Not all soy is created equal. Tofu and tempeh come from the same bean. Fermentation is the difference between a food your body has to fight to extract nutrients from, and one that hands them over freely. Slice and pan-sear tempeh until the edges crisp. Add it to grain bowls, stir-fries, or sandwiches in place of meat. A 100-gram serving comfortably fits a lunch or dinner protein target. 9. Tofu, the soft texture solution. This one has nothing to do with raw protein numbers. It's about accessibility, the same theme that made Greek yogurt so valuable earlier. For anyone dealing with dental pain, jaw fatigue, or swallowing difficulty, tofu is one of the softest, easiest complete proteins available. Here's the mechanism. Firm tofu is made by coagulating soy milk and pressing the curds into blocks. 8 to 12 grams of complete protein per 100 grams. When it's set with calcium sulfate specifically, Look for calcium set on the label. It becomes a genuinely useful source of bioavailable calcium. Same bone density support that makes sardines so valuable. It's lower in calories than tempeh too, which matters if you're managing weight while protecting lean muscle. Here's what most people miss. Tofu gets dismissed as a diet food with nothing going for it. But calcium-set tofu is quietly doing double duty, protein and bone support, in a texture that requires almost no chewing at all. Choose firm, calcium-set tofu specifically, not silken, for the best protein-to-texture balance. Pan-sear cubes for texture, or blend soft tofu into soups and sauces if chewing is a genuine daily obstacle. Pair it with rice or quinoa to round out the amino acid profile, since tofu alone runs slightly short on certain essential aminos. 10. Cooked lentils. The gut-friendly foundation. I saved this one for last because it proves the real thesis of this whole list. Rebuilding muscle after 60 isn't just about hitting protein numbers. It's about giving a changed digestive system the support it needs to actually use what you eat. Here's the mechanism. 1 cup of cooked lentils delivers 17 to 18 grams of protein and 1 to 1.4 grams of leucine. Modest compared to whey or chicken. But lentils bring something almost nothing else on this list does. 15 grams of fiber per cup. That fiber directly counters one of the quietest problems of aging, slowed bowel motility, while feeding the gut bacteria that determine how efficiently every other protein on this list gets absorbed. Lentils are also rich in iron, magnesium, and folate. Pair them with quinoa or rice for a genuinely complete amino acid profile. Here's what most people miss. This isn't 10 unrelated foods. It's one system. Trigger foods like whey and eggs spike the signal. Anti-inflammatory foods like salmon and sardines clear the pathway. Accessible foods like yogurt and tofu remove the friction. Lentils quietly support the gut that has to absorb all of it. Skip this piece and the other 9 work less well than they should. Add a cup of cooked lentils to soups, grain bowls, or salads, 3 to 4 times a week, always alongside a grain. Trigger muscle synthesis fast with whey isolate and eggs. Clear the inflammatory roadblock with salmon and sardines. Remove the friction that kills consistency with Greek yogurt and tofu. Protect muscle overnight with cottage cheese. Round it out with chicken, tempeh, and lentils. This isn't 10 random foods. It's one system your body needs after 60. If this changed how you think about rebuilding muscle after 60, hit like. Comment. Team whey isolate, team salmon, or team cottage cheese. Subscribe, hit the bell. Rebuilding muscle after 60 was never about a pill or a supplement stack. It's about giving your body the exact fuel the science says it now needs.